The name of the show is Now Playing, and what we're playing now is Nubby's Number Munchers, and I meant to say the name of the game right, even though we decided it was a funny bit. We're playing Nubby's Number Munchers, and luck be a number muncher tonight.
Get on the Discord.
Oh.
There's a lot going on. Get on the Patreon, support us, help us out. Sean started a freaking Tears of the Kingdom thing that's popping off.
Give the people what they want.
Yeah, I am not part of it because I haven't played the game and don't own a Switch, but it seems like it's very, very active. So good job by you.
Yeah, in planning this Now Playing episode, I was like, I could talk about Tatke, but Alon sure can't.
Yeah.
And so the games that we chose to play are...
Yeah, so Nubby's Number Factory and Luck Be a Landlord. They're bundled together on Steam for a reason. And they both very much involve a number go up thing, which is on the tip of everyone's tongue, I think, since Balatro popped off and everyone just like, this is just a number go up simulator. And everyone's like, yeah.
Is it that Balatro brought the whole notion of number go up to the forefront of the gaming populace? Like
I think so.
Because numbers going up, that's in games. That's high from the days of Pac-Man. We've come a long way from Pac-Man. But truly, like, I'm not a programmer, but it's like numbers are at the core of making games and like tuning numbers and the numbers in Dragon Quest are such and such and blah 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 blue. But why do you think Balatro unlocked like talking about number go up for gaming normies, more or less?
Yeah, I guess it's almost like a definitional thing of what is a number go up game? Like, what are we even talking about? And to me, it's like a Rube Goldberg machine type of thing, like a domino effect, or is that dominoes falling? Like you set up the dominoes, you knock them down. It's like I built this powerful machine, and then I hit play or go or start or whatever. I release the ball in Nubbies, and then I get to watch it work and watch the numbers go up
and
exponentially to numbers you can't even compute in your head.
Sure. And when you describe it that way, it also reminds me of like, again, like Balatro is a game with explicit, like, the numbers are, I'm seeing bigger numbers, but like what you were just describing reminds me of like, not every popular video game, but like a lot of like super mondo big mainstream games like Angry Birds or Fortnite, that it's like games that like have like one little piece that then like splinters off into an unimaginable sea of interactions and numbers. The numbers, I can't even fathom the numbers. But is it maybe something about these more recent games where it's like the numbers are like very visual, like we're seeing the numbers and like thinking about them or reacting to them or
maybe that's part of it too, because I don't even remember how you advance the next level in Angry Birds. You knock down all the buildings. Is that it?
There's green guys, and you have to kill the green guys by knocking down the buildings.
Right.
There's green guys within the architecture of the physics objects buildings, and you got to crush the green guys.
Crush the bad green guys. Yeah, I mean, in these games, it's like you're literally looking at the numbers. Like, you press play in Balatro, you press start or whatever the button is in Luck Be a Landlord, which we should probably describe these games. You can release the ball, Pachinko ball in Nubbies, and then you just watch the numbers go up, and you hope you reach your threshold that you need to hit in order to advance. And if you don't, then you lose. And it's like as straightforward as that.
Yeah. And so, like I am starting to think that it's like, it is about like the visibility of the numbers. Like it's not necessarily about and that might be something useful about comparing these two games, because like the mechanisms with which you interact, like with your hands with the game, are like very different from like how you interact with the game in your mind is kind of the same, but it's like both of these games each have like a slightly different interface, and like one is Pachinko, One is a roulette machine. Both of those things are like casino parlor games. Like that's we didn't
like
even
the dregs of casino.
Yeah,
like the cheapest, most
pure.
Yeah, uncut shit. So Nubbies, you basically launch a pachinko ball that bounces around off of other numbers, and you get points for when it hits numbers. I mean, that's basically what it is.
It's a board of binomials, right? Do we know what binomials are? Am I using binomial accurately?
I don't know what that is. Tell me more.
It's numbers that exist in a 2. They increase by like 2, so like 1, 2, 4, 16.
Yes. That's correct.
Does it go from 16 to? But then it goes 16 to 32, which is 2. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16.
It's multiples of 2. Is that different than binomial?
It doesn't go 16, 18. It goes, what's a binomial?
It multiplied by 2 is what I mean.
Binomial.
Does that make sense?
Multiplied by 2.
This is what it says on the
3.
This is what it says on the Steam page. A Plinko style roguelike where you work at a number factory. Launch your spherical friend Nubby down a pegboard to make bigger and bigger numbers.
And
but beware, if you fail to meet your number quota, the sun will explode.
And the sun do explode inevitably.
Yes.
Yeah, to get out of the mire of the numbers. But it's like we're never going to get out of the mire of the numbers because that's what these games are. And indeed, it's what I think that's kind of one of the theses I'm working on right now is like all games are number games. Most games are about like number going up, but like these games make it like that's what you're doing. And like it folds in on itself. So you get to like just marvel. But so like the numbers in Nubby's Number Muncher are was not intentional. The Nubby's Number Factory.
Nubby's
Number Muncher. It's like 1, 2, 4. So it's like when you hit the balls of the pachinko board. Do we know what pachinko is? If you don't know what pachinko is,
maybe people don't. What's pachinko?
Pachinko is a game where you drop a ball into a board of pegs and the ball falls randomly and ping, 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 pings. Pachink off of the balls and falls in a cup at the bottom, and you're like aiming for a certain cup. You're aiming for it. You can't really aim for it. You
can't really. There's no skill.
It's a game of chance. In Nubby though, there's a certain amount of aiming, but you're ultimately beholden to a pachink bouncing, and like there is some strategy though. There's some strategy. There's strategy in the fact that like you can see what the number of the pachinko peg is, and if it's like if it's a 1 peg, you clear the peg.
You just go right through it, basically.
If it's anything over 1, you bounce off of it, and it like bounces from like 32 to 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1. So you have to like hit it multiple times, and all those numbers are like flowing into your score. And there's
the
also
thing with Nubbies that makes it get crazy is like the items and the perks and stuff like that. And the different supervisors also when you unlock that. And that's when it really starts to turn into this Rube Goldberg type of thing where you have an item that launches meat at the numbers while you're alive. And that can be triggered by how many bounces. And you have all this big machine you've built basically that's multiple triggers of multiple items all firing at once. It barely, at some point, if you have like a strong enough build, the ball you launch is like a formality. It doesn't even matter where you aim or what happens.
So
you just watch a screensaver of shit animations happening on your screen and your number going crazy. Yeah.
And so like that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you, because you were talking about playing this with some friends and like that at a certain point you hit that point where it's like it didn't matter what you did. Is it because like how did y'all get to the point where like you were able to just like beat the game, like complete it? Like were you able to parse we just had items and synergies, or did you just get a lucky draw the way that you sometimes do in roguelikes?
Yeah, I think we got a really strong build, and then we kept getting offered items that made it stronger. And we just had all this AoE multiple, I think it was triggering like 8x every time it triggered because of the different perks and items we had. And it was the cactus, I think. So it drops like essentially needles down, straight down to pop the numbers. And it was just a complete wall of needles. Like Josh would just shoot the ball and sometimes it would go straight down. So in, Pachinko or pinball or whatever, you lose. And then the needles would start coming and it would just completely clear the board no matter what anyway. It was just like ridiculous.
So it became a needle-based game, more or less.
It just became a press a button and watch the number go up game. It wasn't even a game, really, which I think is also weirdly core to this. I mean, these two games are definitely different, but if we're calling the like umbrella number go up or whatever, I think one of the cores is like you can sort of quote unquote break the games with like an unstoppable godly set of items where you're just unlosably strong and you have that run where you just get sextillion numbers and you're just like holy shit,
Is that different though from, because you ever play that Binding of Isaac? I've definitely asked you this exact question.
Barely. Yeah, barely.
It's just my like roguelike of choice from 10 years ago or whatever when roguelikes were hot.
They still are.
That's one of the conclusions I drew about Nubbies was like roguelikes with this and Starved Providence, roguelikes are hot. They're still good. But the point is that, like, how does a needle-based run in Nubbies differ from like a more physical roguelike where you like run around and shoot stuff with your eye? Because like I remember playing Binding of Isaac and I would get certain roles where it was just like, oh, I don't feel like I'm playing this game anymore. Like I just went from having to play so hard to even get to the final boss to like I barely need to play the game to get the final boss. And like sometimes it was just like there's a satisfaction in like, oh, if I combine this with this, it's gonna make this happen. But then often enough it would just be like completely random and it still felt thrilling. But my question is like, in what way does like that process differ much from what's happening in like a more static roguelike, like a Nubbies or a
menu-based roguelike, maybe you might say,
as opposed to a parkour-based roguelike.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get the thing that immediately comes to mind because I was playing with Josh and Bacon and me, and we all played a lot of different types of these games, Balatro, Slay the Spire, whatever. We all kind of hit a point where it was like, wow, this is funny. We don't even need to do anything and we're just going to beat the final boss. And then you go to endless mode, much like in Balatro. And then things start scaling like completely out of control. Like in Balatro, I don't know if you've played enough to get to like, I think it's like the first time you get to anti-11, it goes from like, you need to hit 7 million or something like that in anti-10, which is a lot. And then anti-11, all of a sudden, it's the small blind is 300 million. And so the first time you hit that, you're just like, what? That's not even like remotely possible or in the sphere. So that's part of it for me, which sounds like it's different from Binding of Isaac, is that you do get to this godly thing. But then if you want to keep going, you have to have a very good understanding of like the item interactions and scaling. And you still have to adapt your build for a late game kind of insane run.
So that's just like where the real...
Yeah, we just hit a ceiling. We just hit a hard cap on this build. We were playing endless mode. We beat the final boss. We played endless mode. And then it was just like, oh, all right. I guess we just lose here. There's no way we can get that number. You just hit a hard cap because we weren't really adapting. We were just going with this one build.
And this is in what? Balatro or Slay the Spire, kind of?
No,
or is this in Nubbies?
In Nubbies. That's what I was describing. I was answering, what you were saying. So in Nubbies,
so if the game is
a wall eventually.
My criticism of these games tends to skew towards things I've yelled about on the podcast before, which is like, why, like, what do I have to learn? Why do I have to learn it? And like, I feel like if part of the core of these games is you have to learn this to learn good synergies. Like, when does that become repellent? Like what is like a give it to me straight. What do you love about deck building games? Number go up. Deck building games. We haven't said deck building on the show yet, or have we?
I mean, they are. We haven't even talked about Luck Be a Landlord, but there's deck building, there's bag building, there's push your luck games. Yeah, these are all kind of overlapping, but I like the strategy. I like the tactical stuff a lot. I've played more Slay the Spire than any of these other games by like tenfold. And it's just really great decision making, and then really fun in the play part. Right. So deck building, the key mechanic after as you're building your deck, the key mechanic is still playing the game. You still have to play the cards well to do well. Sure. Like in Slay, you can't just like close your eyes and just drag cards forward and win. You'll still definitely lose no matter how strong your build is.
Okay.
Versus like bag building or like push your luck games like Luck Be a Landlord, which we'll also describe. And to a certain extent, I think Nubbies is like the key mechanic is sort of like drawing in Luck Be a Landlord. And the key mechanic in Nubbies is sort of like building the machine with your items.
Okay,
and stuff.
Cool.
Like I think like to get through the early game in Nubbies, like you said, like you're kind of aiming to get the most bounces, and there's a 64 and it's gonna land on the 16, and like that's how you get through. You don't have any gold or items yet, but eventually it's just like I need the thing that triggers my items in slots 1, 3, 5, or this build is not gonna work.
So it's
and
like
you're just
the core of the game. I mean, because I definitely clocked in the time that I spent with the game that like being able to move the items around.
Yeah.
So in the game, you have, you're shooting at a Pachinko board, but at the top of it, and like the roguelike element of the game is you draw these items and you store them in a horizontal 1 through 7 row above the game board. And like where your items are situated in that row affects like how they interact with each other. And like, so maybe it's like that's the core of Nubbies. Like that's the thing that's truly unique about it. It's not the Pachinko. It's not the binomials or whatever kinds of numbers there are. It's
or
not
the
even
graphics and stuff like that.
I mean, the graphics are quite special.
We gotta talk about that.
I love the graphics,
but the jokers in Balatro are basically the same as the items like in Nubbies.
Directional,
and you want the in Balatro you want the multiplier to go up before you multiply. Sorry, you want like the number to get bigger before you multiply it. You don't want to multiply and then make the number bigger. Like the order, the function of that is to get the highest points, the
in Balatro. Sorry, I mean to finish your thought.
That's it.
In Balatro, are you able to change the order of your Joker cards?
And you can change the order of the cards you play also, which is really important when you're stacking. So
that's the kind of shit I like learning. I think like the fact that it's like, I have to learn how to like situate things and move things around and I think the thing that puts me off from deck building games and not roguelikes, how do I put this? But one thing at a time. I think like because part of this episode is me trying to explore like why can't I get into Balatro and Slay the Spire the way that everyone else can. And for one, I could just be like, not for me, but like, no, I'm curious. And like in playing Nubbies and Luck Be a Landlord, like I started to engage a little bit more in different ways with these types of games. And I think like aesthetic plays a big part. Like oddly enough, in games that are like so spare in their need for aesthetic, like aesthetic nevertheless plays a huge part. But
I mean, it makes sense if it's a menu game and you're staring at the same thing kind of over and over again. That like ultimately, like I turned off the music in Luck Me and Landlord, and I loved the music in Nubby, right? And they're like a similar genre, right? They're both going for like and Balatro too is also like some like lo-fi, like the like music you can study to a relaxer or whatever that shit is called, but one's good and one's not.
Yeah, and the production in both Balatro and Nubbies are like quite striking. Like from the like right away, you're like, oh, this game is cool.
Like, should we describe Landlord? We haven't described what it is yet.
Before we can move on from the music, I just want to shout out the composer on Nubbies, which is Vinegart or Vinegart, aka Malachi Martin.
Yeah,
like right off the bat, it's like, oh, this is gonna be freaking chill. Dude.
Yeah,
This is chill.
The music is very chill and very good.
Yeah.
So Luck Be a Landlord came out. So Nubbies came out this year, very recent, 2 months ago. But Landlord came out in 2023 and was, I guess, like retroactively famous because I think
Balatro.
Yeah, the creator of Balatro said the largest influence on that game was Luck Be a Landlord, and it's gotten like it picked up steam kind of from there, and all these streamers were playing it. So the Steam thing says Luck Be a Landlord's a roguelike deck builder about using a slot machine to earn rent money and defeat capitalism. This game does not contain any real world currency gambling or microtransactions, which is always nice.
It has to clarify.
Yeah. But yeah, basically it's a slot machine game where you add what they call symbols into your deck, inventory in the game, but essentially deck. And each symbol gives you a certain number of coins when it shows up after pulling the slot machine. And you have to reach a certain amount of money, which is your rent, to pay your landlord for every round. And there's synergies and stuff like that, but that's basically the game, right?
Yeah, I think it's how, much like Nubbies, it's like how the synergies are directional in Luck Be a Landlord vis-a-vis like how the board is situated, because you roll. It's a slot machine, but it's a big slot machine.
Yeah, it's a 5x4 slot machine grid, right? Yeah, 20
and slots. Like a lot of the interactions in the game are like what you're rolling for is things to put into the slot machine, and like those have directional relationships. It's like you can put a banana on the board, and you can put a monkey on the board, and if a monkey's next to a banana, it turns into a banana peel, and if a banana peel is next to a trash man, he's gonna throw it away. I don't know if Trash Man is actually, but it's like those kinds of.
That's like, a good made up character, though. Yeah.
Thank you. They're like playful, like, but something in this game hit me, like, because at first I was just like, I don't. The scope of learning possible synergies like freaks me out. Like, it's like that's not enticing to me. It's just like it sort of makes me like queasy. But then I see one that's like, there's a key, and if a key is next to a chest, it opens the chest. And I was like that I can understand. And even talking about like monkey, banana, that I can understand. Cat, milk, that, like, I think there's something about like how accessible, like how much can a human being infer from the game, either just like through playing it and trying things, like the Michael Bro school of thought. As much as I sound like I'm being a hater, and I think people think I don't like Michael Bro's games, but I like Michael Bro's games, huh?
That's what I think.
I like Michael Bro's games. I love Zaga 33. But the point is, the thing that I like about, and we're all over the place, but number go up. The thing that I like about Michael Bro's games is that you learn the rules through trying things out and playing. It's not just like, here's 3 things you got to choose from. Like, what are you going to choose? It's like, I have to choose one, then I'll see what it does, then da-da-da-da. And I think in playing these 2 games, like that's sort of unlocked for me. That's like, oh, I can play these kinds of games like that. Like I can just be like, I'll just try. I don't really understand what this card is saying, so I'm just gonna use it. Oh, it did that. Got it. Okay. And I think there's something about like the aesthetics in Luck Be a Landlord and the fact that it is like these like inversely from trying things out and learning them. I think there's a lot of latitude when games like play with information you already know about as a human being from Earth, like monkey eat banana, key go into chest, not like the sword of Ramalar is made of acid and certainly hurts the king of Gondolor.
Totally.
Like, which is, I'm making fun of Slay the Spire, kind of, and like Magic the Gathering, even. Anyway, I'm popping off, but the accessibility of information is like there in Luck Be a Landlord, and Nubby's Nubby's his own thing, but. Yeah, that's my. Anyway, I've been ranting for.
Yeah, no, I think there's something there definitely with. But I think also part of this is that like sort of idea of bag building and deck building, because like I could teach you Slay the Spire in 2 seconds. It's actually very straightforward. There isn't actually all of these crazy interactions, even though it might look like the type of game that that is. Like you don't really need to learn that much to understand how to play it, but. You have to play the cards and think about how to play them to do the most damage or block the most at the right time. But there's like a separate game there, not just drafting the cards or buying the cards in a store, but there's also the game of like actively playing now. Now I'm playing a collectible card game against an AI or whatever. Whereas Luck Be a Landlord, I think more than Nubby's even, sort of has like a brain off mode, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Sure.
But you can just like on the face, like you can just mash through it and have fun. You can just be like, oh, cherry, oh, cat, oh, milk, baby, click, click, and you're paying your rent. You're getting points.
I was playing the game on the way home today, and at a certain point I was like, I'm gonna try out this strategy. I'm gonna try a no synergy strategy, and I started just clicking everything that was just +1 coin, and like at a certain point like synergies nevertheless started happening, and that like tickled me. I was like, oh, even and that felt like illuminating in a way of like, oh, if you just play these games, and this isn't me being like, man, I just gotta play Balatro. It's like I played Balatro. Maybe not, I can play whatever I want, but the point is like playing a game to learn the game. Like you need to play the game kind of to learn the game. And that's
exactly.
That's true of like all games, I would probably imagine.
I mean, all of these genre of games, and I'm definitely including like Slay the Spire in this, have something that's like, well, not something. They have many things that are really straightforward, right? Put the banana next to the monkey, get points. Do more of that, get more points. Like the example that I always use in Slay the Spire is the rogue kind of character called Silent. You get offered all these poison cards. And literally, if you stack poison on an enemy by just using your poison cards, the number gets bigger, and that's how much damage it does to them. Poison decks are really weak and bad, but they're very straightforward. So, what's wrong?
Poison. Keep going.
No, so it's a very straightforward thing where newer players will just be like, oh, I'm getting all these poison cards. I'm just going to choose all the poison cards, and they'll do well, and they'll have fun, and they'll do a lot of damage. Even though in general poison decks are weak and bad because it's hard to consistently play well. In the same way, in Luck Be a Landlord, you can just choose all the 1 coin things on your commute or whatever, and then you just get some points, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is good. This is going well, actually. Like I'm doing pretty well.
You're seeing the results happen from doing things. It's not like you need to dominate the game or
and then
win the game.
Underneath in all of these games is like that's where the layers of like depth and complexity are that like playing in that way you barely touch on. But that's equally okay because it's still fun to just play the way you're playing. All of these have that.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's I started to pantomime getting sick because like even as you were describing the poison things, it was like, wait, like I can't follow this. Like I don't follow. And it's not because you're doing a bad job. I think it's like something core to like it's like what I was saying, that it's like I can infer what the effect of poison is. I've played enough video games.
Let me give you an example of a card. It says, apply 5 poison.
Okay.
That's all it says.
Apply 5 poison.
And if you hover your mouse over it, it says poison does damage to an enemy at the end of your turn. So
5
if they
damage?
have 5. Yep. So, and then if you apply 5 poison again the next turn, it stacks and it'll do that much more damage the next
turn. Yeah.
You got it now.
I get it. I think it's like, okay. Yeah, I really don't know what's jamming me up. Like I do not know. I can point to what is like releasing the log jam in a Nubby's in a I almost just said Slay the Spire, but no, Slay the Spire is like my text of like, wait, I don't get it, bro. Like Balatro, I think I get it. Balatro, you like play poker kind of, and you like. You have really immediate interactions between cards and hands and things like that. And I think maybe that's just something about like the kinds of games. I think I've talked about this on the show before, that like I tend to like when there's like a pretty short distance from player to game in a way.
What does that mean? How do you mean?
Like
short distance?
Like you don't need to know that much to start having fun playing the game.
Right,
and I don't think that's just a number go up thing. I think that's like a game design concern. You hear about Starfield and like, well, the types of, it's the trope of like the game gets good after 10 hours.
Yeah, well, Monster Hunter, right?
Monster Hunter. Yeah, like this happens, that it's like how do we accumulate the knowledge to learn how to enjoy these games? And it's like with Slay, and to be clear, with Slay the Spire, it's like I believe if I kept playing it, like I would find the fun.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I think it's like there's something. This isn't like a shit on Slay the Spire episode. But I am trying to like meaningfully like try to parse out like what it is about these number game, like what makes number games more accessible to people.
Yeah.
In Nubby's number game, I think it's the aesthetics are so like immediately interesting that like you're like, I just want to interact with this thing, like period. And I think Balatro has the same thing going on. Like love or leave the Joker, you know, that iconic trickster of I was gonna make a Batman, you know, the Joker. But no, like love or leave the Joker, like the design element that's like become this effing thing around Balatro. The aesthetics in that game, like I remember playing Balatro and being like, I kind of just want to see what the guys look like. I kind of just want to see what other kind of Jokers there are, and like that was enough to like keep me like curious in a way. And I don't want to shit all over Slay the Spire.
I don't care.
The aesthetics in Slay the Spire are like immediately repellent to me. Usually I don't. If I'm repelled by aesthetics, like game design will push me through. But like I think there's something, and look, let's focus on the games we actually played. Luck Be a Landlord, humble aesthetics. The aesthetics
what do you think of them? Yeah.
Functional. Highly functional.
Yeah.
Minimal.
Cute, I think, also.
Yeah.
Like
cute.
I think that because it's pixel art, but not in a way that's like, oh, we're trying to make like retro, like NES looking shit. It's just like, this is how many dots I need to make a cat. And that's what like, I'm gonna do.
It's like more representational.
Yes.
Like it's and I think to that point, like I'm pretty into the aesthetics of Luck Be the Landlord in terms of how like they make the game accessible in a way. Do you want to talk about what do you think of the aesthetics in Nubby's Number Factory?
I mean, they're unique. They're singular.
Singular. Trashy. It's like internet trash.
Yeah, it's kind of
cool.
I imagine what everyone is saying is the same thing. And like, if I were to like read a review of this game, right, it's just like it's GeoCities, it's Flash, it's Windows 95, but it is all that shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of obvious things to say about it. Like, I think people have also said like it's like a long lost kids education game from 1994.
Right.
Like,
and it's also very silly. You know, there's like
that's the underlying.
Butt is one of the items, and like the way there's like a supervisor, a guy in sunglasses on the side of your screen who goes like like every time you hit a big combo or whatever. You know, it's very, very silly.
Who we must assume is the developer. Right?
I assume, but I have no idea. Yeah,
gotta be the guy.
It's gotta be. But yeah, it works for me. It's inoffensive, and I don't think it's like
inoffensive.
It's because it can't, like Balatro, for example, like has the CRT TV like scan lines going across it. Like, I had to immediately turn those off. I was like, what are we doing here? Like, this isn't like cool to me. It doesn't look like a CRT TV. But there's no part of Nubby's where I was like, all right, can I just get to like sleek mode? It's just like, oh, that's just what this is.
This is what this is.
Yeah, and the maker, solo dev, whatever, found it cool or funny looking or whatever, and I'm not gonna try that hard or charge that much for the game. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
This is what they said about it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you're saying about it. Okay. Yeah. I just took it like at face value of like, this is like they're having fun. The thing I kept writing is just like, my reactions to Nubby were like very raw, just like, yeah, dude, whoa, like it was just like a raw. I just kept writing. Aesthetics are actually like, wah. These are some cool people making a game that's like, wah. And when you quit the game, there's a big fart sound. But it's not that it's like an uncaring aesthetic. Like it's singular. Like it is focused in.
It is very like focused. Yeah, there's nothing out of place.
And and to that, the thing I was saying about Balatro, about just like wanting to see the guys, wanting to see new guys. Part of playing Nubbies was just like, oh, I just want to see what else this like person's making for this. Like what other models are they making?
What are the assets?
Show me the assets. And then the music too. The music is like a little
music's
more
really good. I really like the music. Yeah.
I mean, it's earnest and like it's not cynical. It definitely ain't cynical. But yeah. What else?
Well, I could nerd out more about the strategy and stuff, but I think a more like focused way to talk about it is just kind of like, I think one thing that gets talked a lot about with these games is sort of like, it's just random. Like, I just didn't get a good roll that run. And
it's sort of what I was saying earlier about like Binding of Isaac getting like a crazy set of synergies. Like,
and there is a little bit of that, but where the skill actually lies is being consistent even when the roll isn't in your favor or isn't obvious, is what I should say. Like sometimes you get a roll where it's like, oh, I'll take the miner. Oh, I got some ore. Oh, I got a geologist. And they all just work and you just automatically win. But I don't know, the skill in all of these types of games is about like being flexible and identifying the opportunities offered to you. And at the top level, like the people who are really good at these kind of games, and Party House too, I mean, they can win 100 games in a row.
What's Party House?
Party House is a UFO 50 game that is also sort of a bag builder where you're inviting people to a party. And if you invite too many people or too many people tagged with trouble, the cops break up your party.
Trouble.
Yeah, cool. That's what it is.
See, that I'm into. That's just like, it's a series of accessible.
incredible.
I want to see who's in trouble and what kinds of guys. What's a bag game?
That's what I was trying to describe before.
To me like
I don't really have I don't really have a great definition, but so in Party House, like in Luck Be a Landlord, the game is choosing what to add to your bag, right? In Landlord, you pick symbols that will be rolled in your slot machine. In Party House, you pick guests who you'll let in through your door. That's the core. That's like where all the tactics and strategy come in. Then after that, you just press go, and then the thing happens.
You see what happens.
There's no like play really. Whereas in a deck builder like Slay the Spire, Balatro, whatever, you do also build a deck. That's part of the game, is drafting or buying or whatever. But then you have to play it out. You have to then construct the poker hands in Balatro.
So it's
or
like
play the cards in, optimal order or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like putting a bunch of stuff in a bag.
Yeah.
And then all you're really doing is shaking the bag. Or
exactly
putting everything in a bag and then dumping it out of the bag. It's like there's it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not.
No, you're not.
There's one point of interaction, like at a certain all the points of interaction are like before the board.
Exactly.
And in a card battler, in a deck,
card battlers are
in a deck builder. I liked Mega Man Battle Network. I'm not, immune to the charms of the synergies, but that's a whole other conversation.
Synergies. You say synergy weird.
Synergy? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
A card handler, a deck builder is you're engaging with the board of play, like as you are.
You still shake the bag up, but then you take them out one at a time.
Like shuffling a
do
deck.
Something with them. Yeah.
It's very different from 52 card pickup is a bag game.
Right. There we go.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like sort of learning.
That's just what I think, but I don't have a fully fleshed out definition there. And that's a big difference though, because it sounds like you aren't really interested in the deck builder type where you have to play the cards. But you are interested in pushing the button and watching your Rube Goldberg machine work and getting lots of coins for them.
Maybe.
Well, did you like Landlord?
Yeah, I like Landlord.
I mean, that's total pure bag builder.
That's bag? Oh, yeah, because you just hit roll.
You just press roll, and then you get a certain number of coins, and then you're presented with another group of symbols to pick from.
That's tell you this much.
The whole game.
You might as well not even need to hit roll, right? It's like literally the only choices you're making are like, what am I adding to the board? And like, it could be like hitting done from the item screen, but the interface, there is something attractive.
Essentially. I mean, there are a couple things you actually can do in between.
Oh, you can like use items at specific times.
Exactly. You can also, I found out in my most recent playthrough, you can actually right click on an item and have it not be in effect if you don't want it to be.
Whoa.
Which I was like, wait, what? This is fucking cool.
I've been playing on mobile, so I don't know what even.
Well, there's definitely a way to do it because it's core to the game.
Hold.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Sure.
But I mean, because like I had this item. It's called Zaroff's Contract, I think.
Okay.
The name has nothing to do with anything, but basically what it means is
contract.
If you add bounty hunters to your bag and then when you roll your slot machine, a bounty hunter is next to any other human, they like basically kill them. They like slap them, destroy them, and you get coins for it. But then I got to a point in my run where I didn't want my guys to be destroyed because I had useful guys that were getting me lots of coins. So I right clicked on the contract and it was no longer in effect. And
so
then
it got rid of the what was the word for the guy? Bounty hunter.
Zaroff's contract. So no, the bounty hunters were still in my deck. They just didn't kill the other humans.
See, this is okay. No, I'm with you. If I think it's like if I had played and like made that happen and like at my own pace. I think something that also turns me off about these games is like the pace, the demands, how the demands of the game are paced out. Like, whatever. I could keep going on and on about. It's not even, again, it's not just, why don't I like Slay the Spire? Here's why. Slay the Spire sucks. It's more about like, I clearly see that how much these games resonate with people. And I'm not really content to just be like, those people are fucked up or I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it's not one or the other. I think it's like, because I think this is getting too big brain. But art's objective, right?
Yeah.
Are games art?
Yep. I think reviews should be subjective too, right? Like I think it's valid to be like, I don't like when this and this is presented, and me being like, oh, I love it because of this and this, right?
Yeah. Well, because at that point it becomes that it's like the critic's perspective is the thing that's in focus. Yeah. And like, and I think like what I was arcing towards is talking about how like games are constructed as like objective things, but are nevertheless like worked with. This is getting big brain.
Yeah,
they're worked with never and like processed subjectively nevertheless. And it's like, I guess that's true of like sports, like or like, you know, it's
movies.
You can flatly like all art maybe can be no, I want to get off this like all art thing because it's like it doesn't.
It's hardcore. I don't know.
It's too vague.
I can't keep up.
Because like all I was gonna say is like all art is produced with like an objective, but like what
I don't even know what it means. Yeah,
we're done with that. But the point is like I think like part of what's jamming me up in my like quest for understanding and my curiosity regarding these games is like I still can't even totally parse like the objective goal of some of these number games. Like, is it to just like play with, but it feels like it's to play with, but like at a really high level. I feel like there's like an intellectualism to these games that means like, I don't know though. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's what I like about them, but I don't know if that's what everyone likes about them. I mean, I think there's like an anticipation and release. There's like setting up the dominoes and then knocking them down. It's like just talk more about Landlord quickly. It's like like I was just brain dead playing it at first, my first was not. I wasn't even playing it. I was watching Josh play it. That was my first interaction with the game. And it was just kind of like you just take stuff and see what happens. And like you might go for a certain synergy and not get it. And you're like, oh, I got fucked by the draw or whatever. But the strategy is like interesting because you're forced to take early symbols in that game because you have to fill slots and get money from them.
Yeah.
Whereas in other similar-ish games, you're not really forced to take early stuff. You want to kind of just scrape by and then wait for like late game stuff. But Landlord is different because you have no strategic direction. You're kind of just like bloating your bag with like stuff. You're just like, all right, I'll take this fucking sapphire crystal with no synergy, or you know, like this monkey. I guess this monkey's going in my deck. Like
when
whatever.
I was a kid, I got an iPod and I was so obsessed with just filling it with anything.
There we go.
I ended up putting.
You're a bag builder.
I was building my bag and I put Aerosmith on my iPod. I didn't like Aerosmith. I just wanted to have stuff on my iPod. And like, so I'm joking, but also like, I think like there's something about, well, no, you're talking more focusedly about like,
well, I'm just getting in the weeds on the strategy part, which is what I like. And the reason I kind of like perked up earlier when you were talking about the key, and then you get a key and then later you get like a lockbox, and If they're next to each other, you get like that is just perfect tutorialization of a game. And it's like you get this like euphoric dopamine hit when you hit like a combo, right? The key is next to the lockbox. You're like, oh, I got 15 coins. That fucking was sick. But when you start to get like deeper in the weeds on playing these games, you realize like, but is that good? Like I had the key in my slot machine for like 10 turns, and then I had the lockbox in my thing for 8 turns, and paid off 15 after 18 turns. That was actually bad.
I'll tell you though,
my run.
I'll buttress that because I'm becoming a card battler lover.
Yeah.
I'll buttress that with, in one of my more recent runs of Luck Be a Landlord, there's a coal item, and the coal turns to diamond in 20 turns. And I don't know what diamond does, but there was something like so obviously compelling about, man, I wonder if I can roll 20 times. I'm just going to throw this piece of trash on my board to see if I can make it. And then like the tension of that built and built and built. And that's like a very, like you're saying, like the game can be brain dead. Like you can fucking
in a fun way,
chill and play. And I think Nubby's, you know, we've been giving a lot of love to Luck Be a Landlord. I think Nubby's is, you can play that kind of brain deadly as well.
I think both of these like really excel at that, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I can play Nubbies barely paying attention while listening to a podcast. Same with Landlord, and have a great time.
And then the board starts going crazy, and you're like, oh wait, whoa.
Why are there boogers squirting everywhere?
What's happening? And like you perk up, and then it's like, oh, and but and I think I was trying to say too that like there's a spectrum of play with these games. Kind of, it's like, again, this is probably true of all games. Mario, you can speed run it, or you can play like an idiot who gets killed by the Goomba, and you learn to love the crush of the Goomba, and that's the game.
But
I crushed a Goomba.
In menu games, I don't know why. There's just something different about just being like, I'm just gonna click through this shit because I'm not in the mood, and it's still kind of fun.
Yeah.
Versus having to be like again, Slay the Spire, a game I absolutely love. I can sort of brain dead it because I played so much that it's like ridiculous, and I'll still have fun. But a new player or even someone with 10 hours in it is still like, should I play the strike here or should I play the block? And it's like, well, he has vulnerable, so it's gonna do 9 damage. But if I block, then next turn, maybe I'll draw my bash, and that is. If you're new and learning, you're
definitely following you.
You can't listen to a fucking podcast while doing that, right? You can't just be like, I'm going to just on the commute at 7 a.m., like play on my phone and zone out. Whereas like, I think these games do that extremely well. These kind of menu bag building kind of games. I don't know. Nubby's is Nubby's menu or parkour? I don't even know.
But by virtue of how you
parkouring.
The ball is parkour, but by virtue of how you were describing it, like it feels like it gets inevitably to a menu state, kind of.
I think so, because I think you can't. I don't think there's a possible way to play Nubbies and know what's going on. Much like a Bond movie, you just watch, but like eventually you just get to a place you're like, what triggered that? I have no idea. What destroyed that? Oh, I got a million points. All right, nice. Yeah. Like next level, please.
There were times during my Nubbies run where it was like clearly like, oh, that ball is worth 1,000 points, and I have a perk that tells me that if I hit the best ball first, I get double the points. So I was like, I gotta get that ball, but it was like I can't get that ball. And so like I think what I'm parsing out is like that's more parkour-y play of like I gotta try to see if I can hit that
aim
ball
well.
Yeah. And maybe that's the trick of Pachinko itself, that like Pachinko presents itself as a parkour game, but
good one. Yeah.
But deep down it's a menu game. So like you think your like animal brain wants to keep like being like, no, I can figure this one out. I was at a place in Chinatown with a bunch of crane games, and like the pull even there in that context of like, I can fucking figure this out. I can look around from a different angle, and it's like, no. This is like you're not actually grabbing things.
Yeah.
You're not using your hands. You're not grabbing that box.
And there's a claw game in Nubbies. Look at that.
Is there? Oh yeah, straight up. And it's rendered with like flat like imagery.
It's so beautiful. I love the way it looks. Yeah. I mean, the perfect example of this also is literally the first game of Nubbies I played today in anticipation of this podcast. I destroyed the game, beat the final boss, got to endless mode.
Really?
At a monster. First game. I was just like, oh my God. Second game, I
lost
got
immediately.
2,000 score, didn't get out of the first world. I was just like, oh fuck. I didn't power up, or I didn't aim well early. Yeah.
Did you feel like you were playing the game both times?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I mean, that's like, maybe that's the magic of Nubbies, is it starts as this like skill parkour game where if you fuck it up and don't pay attention, you will just die immediately.
Yeah, if you just gutter ball,
you just miss the 64 and go through a 1, you're just gonna die. But it transitions at some point into just like explosions of AoE damage. It doesn't even matter what I do.
Now tell me this, my dear Alon, is Slay the Spire a game that starts as menu game but becomes parkour? Is that
no?
Fuck. Shit, piss. What's a game that starts menu but becomes parkour?
I don't know.
Riddle me this.
Well, I remember. I think it was Nolan a while ago on our Discord posted a thing that like a comic or whatever that was like that said Counter-Strike number game, Apex Legends parkour, and I was like, how is Counter-Strike a numbers game? I didn't really understand. I still don't understand.
Sure.
But maybe that starts as a menu game and becomes parkour.
I wanted to invoke Counter-Strike way earlier, but I felt like it would get us way too off track. I've talked about this with you in private a few times, that it's like, I hate shops. I hate shops and MOBAs and
is that why it's is that why it's a menu game?
But you made a good point, which is like, even if you know how to play the menu game, you still have to execute. Like, you can have the intellectual information of like, gotta get that deagle on round 3. You gotta get that deagle on round 3. But like, if you are a shitty shot, you're a shitty shot.
Yeah.
So like, you can have all the deagles in the world, but like someone with what's a crappy gun in Counter-Strike? Someone with a Glock, some noob with a Glock can get your ass. And
I think same with League of Legends. I mean, League of Legends has
Good
like
Lord.
200 champions and hundreds of items. I don't even know.
No.
But like, I can watch Doug, who's a million ranks higher than I ever was, and be like, I think you should get this item, and I might be right. But whatever Doug does is going to be better anyway, because his skill level and knowledge of the game is so much higher that the execution level is just so much higher. Like, it doesn't
and maybe
really,
that's what's true of these number games too, is that ultimately it is about the player. Like, as much as my hesitation is like, I don't want to have to learn, it's because these games are like, you need to learn some stuff to play me. And like, as much as I'm like, Mario's intuitive, it's like, no, it's not. I've just played Mario since I was a wee baby. So like, you play game styles that are iterative upon existing style. Like, that's a whole other freaking conversation. So
both of these games are based off of like real life anxieties. Did you realize that?
Tell me.
Like, Nubby's Number Factory is you work in a number factory and you have to hit your quota or the sun's gonna explode.
Or everyone dies. Yeah.
And Luck Be a Landlord is you are living someplace and you have to pay your rent every certain number of spins.
Yeah.
And if you don't make your rent, you die. You lose.
Yeah. It's
trippy. It's very anti-capitalist. Like be a landlord.
Yeah, truly. Like very contemporary. I was making some jokes about the game being woke.
It is
off
though.
mic, but no, there's like a communist email in it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. Hello, comrade.
You can kill a billionaire and get their money.
Well, in the latest patch note, speaking of the billionaires, if you kill a billionaire, the patch note, this is the quote from the patch note. Billionaires no longer leave spirits behind because they don't have souls.
Sure. It's pretty explicit. Yeah.
They also don't pay out anything. A static billionaire is worth 0 coins.
Oh, it's only contributes nothing to society.
Nothing. It's only if it's next to wine, cheese, or murder.
Right. That it just consumes. It consumes or is killed.
Yeah, literally. And there's a famous tweet about that from Donna Zuckerberg.
Who's Donna Zuckerberg?
Mark Zuckerberg's
sister?
She said she tweeted, currently playing Luck Be a Landlord, which describes itself as a roguelike deck builder about using a slot machine to earn rent money and defeat capitalism. Love your game. Although I can't help feeling the billionaire looks a little familiar. ...
Okay. It's like
what the fuck, dude?
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I wish you didn't have to kill the billionaire.
Hey, my brother's a good guy.
My brother's a decent, God-fearing American man. Yeah, no, I think I was about to say, I think I'm good, but no, there's like other things I want to point out that I like about both of these games. I got to a point with these games where it's like, oh no, I like number games. I've played number games. Y'all played that Cookie Clicker?
No, I don't know.
I don't think I like Cookie Clicker, but I've engaged with Cookie Clicker.
Looks cool. What do you do? You click?
You click a cookie. And
yum.
And you put your cookie points into like upgrade things, and things exponentially grow. And it's played over a long period of time. Like it clicks when your phone is like asleep.
Oh,
too.
Weird. Okay.
So you come back to it and you like click more, but you can like click the cookie.
Fuck yeah.
It's a clicker game.
There we go.
Clicker. But no, the actual number game I want to talk about is called Number Munchers.
It's before your time. You played that? What was the game you said you liked more than Number Munchers, though?
Gizmos and Gadgets, dude. Gizmos and Gadgets is a parkour game, dude. Number Munchers is like Pac-Man of numbers.
That's a menu game all the way.
Well, so is Gizmos and Gadgets. But Gizmos and Gadgets, you assemble like vehicles with blueprints. It's pretty cool.
That does sound cool.
You have to like do a submarine level to get parts. Pretty cool, right?
Love that. Yeah.
No, the actual game I wanted to talk about is called Hold Down. You ever play that Hold Down?
Oh, I think I might have even downloaded it. I think you recommended it.
Probably talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's one of the best, one of the greats. And it is like...
You play it on your phone, right?
Yeah, it's like a reverse. It's the designer. I might have talked about this on the damn pod, but whatever. The designer wanted to make something that captured, like, you know when you're playing Breakout and the ball gets stuck up top and it's going like, it's going all crazy, and you're just like,
really
maybe there's a connection there between Nubbies and all these games and Breakout and the top thing. Hold Down is a game where you're shooting down and there's blocks with numbers on them, and you have to hit the blocks however many times as indicated. And like you're incrementally, as you're playing, like getting more balls, and you're also learning to like bounce into the holes to create like perpetual, just like like where like it. But again, it's about the interplay of we're playing pretty fast and loose with like the parkour menu dichotomy.
Yeah.
But it's like most of these games, I think, deck builder, deck,
luck,
menu,
landlord,
nubby, muncher, I think the games that we're talking about are like fundamentally about like interactions between. Look, Luck Be a Landlord is not a parkour game. Neither is Nubby's.
No.
Who cares? Who cares? The point is that all these games are about, I think, like the interacting between like what action am I taking and like what are the effects of my actions? Like what can I think about to like make happen? And then I like sort of take my hands off at a certain point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and to go back to the beginning of the episode, like me riffing on Angry Birds a little bit. It's like Angry Birds is not telling you like you're shooting at an angle of 35. And when you shoot at an angle of 35, you get 200 points. But like, that's what's happening. You're like releasing and then just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You're like, it's a bag game.
I mean, that's why I always found it very odd. I mean, I guess when you play enough of something, this might explain it. But when everyone was playing Balatro on our Discord, they were kind of saying like, oh, wow, you can turn the animation speed to all the way up so you don't have to sit through the animation. And me, a Balatro enjoyer, was like, wait, I like seeing how the jokers work. Like I like building my machine and then seeing how it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's like part of the enjoyable part for me. I don't want to just like click and then it like instantly tallies up all my points and then I'm back in the menu. I was like, wait, no, this is like the fun part for me. This is the payoff.
You ever read The Woman in the Dunes by Kobo Abe?
No. Tell me about it.
I don't
know. What do you think about Vampire Survivors? Is that one of these kind of games?
I don't want to spoil the book, but what we're talking about reminds me of the ending of that book. Vampire Survivors, yeah.
That's kind of in this genre, right?
Park menu. Like you're kind of maneuvering it, but mostly you're just
like you have to maneuver, but yeah, mostly you're just like getting broken item combinations and auto attacking.
The more we talk about it, the more I like the dichotomy we're sort of developing between bag and deck, with bag being like, and like Vampire Survivors is closer to a bag game than a deck game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because like you are moving it around and it feels like you're like, ooh, I dodged that bat. But like, did you really dodge the bat? And if there were 500 bats, would you be able to dodge them? Like, who cares?
Well, it's also like you don't choose the items you get in that game. So it's obviously different. But no, I think I agree with you. It's more bag than deck.
Yeah. And I keep invoking these like super mechanics heavy games like Angry Birds, like Mario. It's why I'm trying to come at it from an angle of like, what is it about these games like making numbers more accessible to people? Like, is that part of what's going on here? But at the same time, part of what's repellent about Slay the Spire to me is like, it's not even about numbers. It's like it's like the aesthetic information. And like, you start telling me about poison, and I'm like, I don't want to have to learn what poison does. I don't want to learn that. It's like, why not? How come I'm okay with learning that monkey eat banana?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was like the premise, and I still don't know why not. Really. But we all have our personal tastes or something.
We all have our bugaboos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Nubby's Number
a wrap,
Factory.
I think.
That's it for White Flank. Now playing. I already said the intro of what we're playing now. Both of these games you can get them in a bundle on Steam, so the developers know what's up. They're on the same page.
Yep. We'll link to the bundle. We'll link to The Woman in the Dunes. We'll link to Hold Down.
We sure will. Yeah, and I wanted to say also, as soon as I found out there was an Android version of Luck Be a Landlord, I refunded my Steam purchase and bought the Android version.
There we go.
And the Nubby's Number Factory developer has communicated their desire to develop it for Android. I don't know why I'm pushing mobile games right now, but it's like, I don't know. I think there's cool mobile games. You know what I found out earlier today? The lifetime sales of the PS5 I'm going off the rails.
Yeah, go.
The lifetime sales of the PS5 just hit the lifetime sales of the PS4. And it was a number that like
I don't know. That means nothing to me.
It shook me to my core. PS5 lifetime sales match PS4, and the number is 79.1 million consoles. 79.1 million people have PlayStation 5s.
That's like that might be less than I thought it would be.
That's less?
I don't know. I don't know anything about these numbers, but like a lot of people have it.
I just want to play a game on phone. That's the show.